everyone.
Good evening. Look, here we are. Let's say hello to YouTube. Hi. Hi, YouTube.
Hi, Facebook.
Hi, Facebook.
Hi, Instagram.
I know we're really high tech now because we worked out how to do it on the computer, so we can do YouTube and Instagram and Facebook because we're a little bit clever. We've got clever at this, haven't we?
And we have to tell them about what? Welcome to our reading of 1001 Nights. It's a very special one.
It's a very special one because it is our 1-year anniversary reading. My name is Joanna Godwin-Seidel.
And my name is Saman Gerard. And
we have been reading 1001 Nights for over a year. We started on the 20th of March in 2020 at the when we actually during the first lockdown that took place in Vienna. We got together and decided to read. So this now is our 1-year anniversary.
And for those of you who are tuning in for the very first time, what we're actually doing, we are reading the original translation by Sir Richard Francis Burton, which is the most important translation of 1001 Nights and the most extensive and most beautiful one.
And how many pages have we read so far, man? How many nights?
I don't know how many pages.
Oh, pages like 2,000 plus or something.
It's about 17 volumes we have to read, so we're at volume 5.
So we've got a ways to go yet. And we decided very, very cleverly, sometime towards the end of the first lockdown that only lasted a week anyway, that we were going to read. How much were we going to read? The whole
book.
All of the volumes.
All
17 of them.
Yes.
We're on book 5.
Yes.
Stay tuned in. And what do we have specially this evening because it's our anniversary?
A huge thank you first.
A huge thank you.
That's what we have.
Yes,
we have a huge thank you to the wonderful Palais Hansen Kempinski, which is a 5-star hotel based in the city center of Vienna. And we are currently in the presidential suite.
We are.
So a big thank you to the Palais Hansen.
Big thank you to Palais Hansen Kempinski. Also, a big thank you to
Maurizio Giambra.
Yes, for who dressed us in
these wonderful gowns. Thank you so much.
Once again, and we are wearing beautiful jewellery from
Vienna in the Gate district in Vienna.
So we're very, very grateful. We're very, very grateful to Doretta Carter, who is our stylist and helps us out every time, so that we can look as good as we do.
Ina and Thomas Photography for taking the pictures.
Exactly. And today we had another special event because in the morning we also did some filming for a trailer with Michael Smoolick. Thank you very much, Michael, for coming along and joining us this morning as well, that we could do the trailer. And now we have something very special that you will get at the end of today's show. We have a prize. We have a little
Three prizes.
3 prizes.
You have to stay tuned until the end of the reading though. We are going to ask 3 questions. You need to answer them on one of these platforms. And the person who actually gets the questions right is going to win the first 3 ones. Yeah.
We will send these books all over. What books have you got, Simone?
Well, I've got a very old classic. It's called The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. If you don't know it, either stay tuned with us until the end of the night and win it, or go and buy it if you feel like it. It's a beautiful book. Beautiful, beautiful. This is it. What do you have?
I have from Hafez, Faces of Love and the Poets of Shiraz. It is an English translation of Hafez, Yahan Malek Khatun, and Obaid Exakani.
An Iranian, that's what she's trying to say. Persian.
So, what did I say?
No, I'm just reading his name. He's Iranian, he's Persian.
Okay.
So all my Persian folks out there and Middle Eastern folks.
Translated by, it's a lovely name, Dick Davis.
Well, that's a very
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful book. I love the cover actually, this one.
And the last one is The Quarter, Stories by Naguib Mahfouz. I hope I said it correctly. Winner of the Nobel Prize of Literature. Yeah, taking us into the beating heart of Cairo.
How lovely. So these books can be won at the end of the show, and we are sending them all around the world. Last time, for Valentine's Day, we gave away some chocolates and we sent those to Ghana and to Denmark, I think, didn't we? And some to Vienna.
Yes.
We are going to read for you now without further ado.
Exactly.
After we have finished reading, we're going to do something very new and different today because this beautiful, beautiful presidential suite has a piano in it, and it so happens that our music director, Kamyab, can play the piano. So we are going to do this wonderful, technically very versed and very professional thing of just picking up the cameras and moving them over to the piano. You will see the whole process. And then,
without further ado,
we will
read now.
We are going to listen to Kamyab play some very, very beautiful. We're very, very grateful for him for being here this evening. He's going to play some lovely, lovely music for us. And then after the Kamyab's music, you can win the books. Okay, so Ma'am, welcome back.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Glad to be back. Enjoy the reading, everyone. Now when it was the 430th night, she said, "It hath reached me, auspicious king, that they ceased not to fare forwards in high state, the man with Ali's man, and the women with his wife, till they came to the mansion, where they alighted, and brought the mules and their burdens into the midst of the courtyard. Then they unloaded them and warehoused the goods, whilst the merchants' wives went up with Ali's family to the saloon, which they found, as it were, a luxuriant garden, spread with magnificent furniture. They sat in mirth and good cheer till noon, when they brought them up the midday meal, all manner meats and sweetmeats of the very best. And they ate and drank costly sherbets, and perfumed themselves thereafter with rose water and scented woods. Then they took leave and went home, man and women. And when the merchants returned to their places, they sent presents to the husband according to their conditions. And the wives likewise sent presents to the wife, so that there came to them great store of handmaids and slaves and mamelukes, and all kinds of goods, such as grain, sugar, and so forth, in abundance beyond account. As for the Baghdad merchant, the landlord of the house, he abode with Ali and quitted him not, but said to him, "Let the slaves and servants take the mules and the common cattle into one of my other houses to rest." Quoth Ali, "They set out again tonight for such a place." Then he gave them leave to go forth and camp outside the city, that they might start on their journey at night come. Whereupon, hardly believing that they were dismissed, they took leave of him, and, departing to the outliers of the city, flew off through the air to their several abodes. So Ali and his house owner sat together till a third of the night was past, when the colloquy ended, and the merchant returned to his own house, and Ali went up to his wife and children, and after saluting them said, "What hath befallen you in my absence all this time?" So she told him what they had suffered of hunger and nakedness and travail. And he said, "Praised be Allah for safety. How did he come?" Answered she, "O my Lord, I was asleep with my children yesternight, when suddenly and unexpectedly one raised us from the ground and flew with us through the firmament, without doing us any hurt. Nor did he leave flying with us till he set us down in a place as it were an Arab camping ground, where we saw laden mules and a travelling litter borne upon 2 great mules, and around it servants, all boys and men. So I asked them, 'Who are ye, and what are these loads, and where are we?' And they answered, 'We are the servants of the merchant Ali of Cairo, son of the merchant jeweler, who hath sent us to fetch you to him at Baghdad.' Quoth I, 'Tell me, is it far or near hence to Baghdad?' They replied, 'Near. There lieth between us and the city but the darkness of the night.' Then they mounted us in the litter, and when the morrow dawned, we found ourselves without having suffered any hurt whatever. Quoth he, 'Who gave you these dresses?' And quoth she, 'The chief of the caravan opened one of the boxes on the mules, and taking out thereof these clothes, clad me and thy children each in a suit, after which he locked the case, and gave me the key, saying, Take care of it, till thou give it to thy husband. And here it is, safe by me. So saying, she gave him the key, and he said, Dost thou know the chest? Said she, Yes, I know it. So he took her down to the magazine and showed her the boxes, when she cried, This is the one whence the dresses were taken. Upon which he put the key in the lock and opened the chest, wherein he found much raiment and the keys of all the other cases. So he took them and fell to opening them one after another, and feasting his eyes upon the gems and precious ores they contained, whose like was not found with any of the kings. After which he locked them again, took the keys, and returned to the saloon, saying to his wife, This is of the bounty of Almighty Allah. Then bringing her to the secret slab, he turned the pin and opened the door of the closet, into which he entered with her, and showed her the gold he had laid up therein. Quoth she, Whence came all this to thee? It came to me by the grace of my Lord, answered he. And Shahrazad perceived the dawn of day, and ceased saying her permitted say.
Now, when it was the 431st night, Shahrazad said, It has reached me, O auspicious king, that when Ali's wife had looked upon the gold, she said to him, Whence came all this to thee? It came to me by the grace of my Lord, answered he. When I left thee in my trouble, I shipped at Bulak for Damietta, and met a friend there, who forwarded me to Damascus. In brief, he told her all that had befallen him from first to last. Said she, O my Lord, all this cometh by boon of thy father's blessing, and orisons when he prayed for thee before his death, saying, I beseech Allah to cast thee into no straits except he grant thee ready relief. So praise be Allah Almighty, for that he hath brought thee deliverance, and hath requited thee with more than went from thee. But Allah upon thee, O my Lord, return not to thy practice of associating with doubtful folk, but look thou fear Allah, whose name be exalted, both in private and in public. As she went on to admonish him, he said, I accept thine admonition, and beg the Almighty to remove the forward from amongst us, and establish us in his obedience, and in the observance of the law and practice of his prophet, on whom be blessings and peace. After that, Ali and his wife and children were in all solace of life and gladness, and he opened him a shop in the merchant's bazaar, and, stocking it with somewhat of jewels and bullion, sat therein with his children and servants. Presently, he became the most considerable of all the merchants of Baghdad, and his report reached the king of that city, who sent a messenger to command his attendants, saying, Answer the summons of the king who requireth thee. He replied, I hear and obey. And straightway prepared his present, and he took 4 trays of red gold, and filling them with jewels and precious metal, such as no king possessed, went up to the palace, and presenting himself before the presence, kissed the ground between his hands, and wished him endurance of goods and glory in the finest language he could command. Said the king, O merchant, thou cheerest our city with thy presence. And Ali rejoined, Oh, king of the age. Thy slave hath brought thee a gift, and hopeth for acceptance thereof from thy favour. Then he laid the 4 trays before the king, who uncovered them, and seeing that they contained gems whose fellows he possessed not, and whose worth equalled treasuries of money, said, Thy presence is accepted, O merchant, and inshallah, we will requite thee with its like. And Ali kissed his hands and went away, whereupon the king called his grandees and said to them, How many of the kings have sought my daughter in marriage? Many, answered they. And he asked, Have any of them given me the like of this gift? Whereto they replied, Not one, for that none of them hath its like. And he said, I have consulted Allah Almighty by lot as to marrying my daughter to this merchant. What say ye? Be it as thou reckest, answered they. Then he bade the eunuch carry the 4 trays into his seraglio, and going into his wife, laid them before her. She uncovered them, and seeing therein that whose like she possessed not, no, nor a fraction thereof, said to him, From which of the kings hadst thou these? Perchance of one of the royalties that seek thy daughter in marriage. Said he, Not so. I had them of an Egyptian merchant who is lately come to this our city. Now, when I heard of his coming, I sent to command him to us, thinking to make his acquaintance, so haply we might find with him somewhat of jewels, and buy them of him for our daughter's trousseau. He obeyed our summons and brought us these 4 trays as a present. And I saw him to be a handsome youth, of dignified aspect, and intelligent as elegant, almost such as should be the sons of kings. Wherefore my heart inclined to him at sight, and my heart rejoiced in him, and I thought good to marry my daughter to him. So I showed the gifts to my grandees, who agreed with me that none of the kings have the like of these, and I told them my project. But what sayest thou? And Shahrazad perceived the dawn of day and ceased saying her permitted say.
Now when it was the 432nd night, she continued, It hath reached me, O auspicious king, that the king of Baghdad, after showing the presents to his wife and highly praising Ali, the merchant jeweller, and informing her of the proposed marriage, asked, But what sayest thou? She replied, O king of the age, the ordering this affair is in Allah's hand, and thine, and whatso Allah willeth shall come to pass. Rejoined the king, If it be his will, I will marry her to none other than this young man. He slept on this resolve, and on the morrow he went out to his divan and summoned Ali and the rest of the merchants of Baghdad. And when all came, bade them be seated. Then said he, Bring me the Qazi of the divan. And they brought him. Whereupon the king said to him, O Qazi, write the contract of marriage between my daughter and our lord the Sultan. It befitteth not that a trader such as I be the king's son-in-law. Come, quoth the king, it is my will to bestow this favour upon thee, as well as the vizierate. And he invested him forthwith in the vizier's office and ministerial robes. Then Ali sat down in the chair of the vizierate and said, O king of the age, thou hast bestowed on me this, and indeed I am honoured by thy bounties. But hear one word I have to say to thee. He replied, Say on, and fear not. Quoth Ali, Since it is thine aghast resolution to marry thy daughter, thou wouldst do better to marry her to my son. Quoth the king, Hast thou then a son? And Ali replied, Yes. Send for him forthwith, said the king. Thereupon answered Ali, hearkening and obedience, and dispatched a servant to fetch his son, who came, and kissing the ground before the king, stood in an attitude of respect. The king looked at him, and seeing him to be yet comelier than his daughter, and goodlier than she in stature and proportion, and brightness and perfection, said to him, What is thy name, O my son? My name is Hassan, O our lord the Sultan, replied the young man, who was then 14 years old. Then the Sultan said to the Qazi, Write the contract of marriage between my daughter, Husn al-Wujud, and Hassan, son of the merchant Ali the Cairene. So he wrote the marriage contract between them, and the affair was ended in the goodliest fashion, after which all in the divan went their ways, and the merchants followed the vizier, Ali escorting him to his house, where they gave him joy of his advancement, and departed. Then he went in to his wife, who, seeing him clad in the vizier's habit, exclaimed, What is this? When he told her all that had passed, from first to last, and she joyed therein with exceeding joy. So sped the night, and on the morrow he went up to the divan, where the king received him with especial favour, and seating him close by his side, said, O vizier, we purpose to begin the wedding festivities, and bring thy son in to our daughter. Replied Ali, O our lord the Sultan, whatso thou deemest good is good. So the Sultan gave orders to celebrate the festivities, and they decorated the city and held high festival for 30 days in all joy and gladness, at the end of which time Hassan, son of the Vizier Ali, went in to the princess and enjoyed her beauty and loveliness. When the queen saw her daughter's husband, she conceived a warm affection for him, and in like manner she rejoiced greatly in his mother. Then the king bade build for his son-in-law Hassan, Ali's son, a palace beside his own. So they built him with all speed a splendid palace, in which he took up his abode. And his mother used to tarry with him some days, and then go down to her own house. After a while, the queen said to her husband, O king of the age, Hassan's lady mother cannot take up her abode with her son and leave the vizier. Neither can she tarry with the vizier and leave her son. Thou sayest sooth, replied the king, and bade edify a third palace beside that of Hassan, which being done in a few days, he caused remove thither the goods of the vizier, and the minister and his wife took up their abode there. Now the 3 palaces communicated with one another, so that when the king had a mind to speak with the vizier by night, he would go to him, or send to fetch him, and so with Hassan and his father and mother. On this wise they dwelt in all solace and in the greatest happiness. And Shahrazad received the dawn of day, and ceased saying her permitted say.
Now, when it was the 433rd night, She said, "It has reached me, O auspicious king, that the king and the wazir and his son ceased not to dwell in all solace and in the greatest happiness a while, till the king fell ill, and his sickness grew on him. So he summoned the lords of his realm and said to them, 'There is come upon me a sore malady, peradventure a mortal, and I have therefore summoned you to consult you respecting a certain matter, on which I would have you counsel me as you deem well.' They asked, 'What is the matter of which thou wouldst take counsel with us, O king?' And he answered, 'I am old and sickly, and I fear for the realm after me from its enemies. So I would have you all agree upon some one, that I may proclaim him king in my lifetime, so ye may be at ease.' Whereupon quoth they with one voice, 'We all approve of thy daughter's husband Hassan, son of Wazir Ali, for we have seen his wit and perfect understanding, and he knoweth the place of all, great and small.' Asked the king, 'Are you indeed agreed upon this?' And they answered, 'Well, yes.' Rejoined he, 'Peradventure ye all say this to my face of respect for me, but behind my back ye will say otherwise.' However, they all replied, 'By Allah, our word is one and the same in public and in private, and we accept him frankly and with the heartiness of heart and the breadth of breast.' Quoth he, 'Since the case is thus, bring the Qazi of the Holy Law and all the chamberlains and viceroys and officers of state before me tomorrow, and we will order the affair after the goodliest fashion. We hear and we obey.' Answered they, and withdrawing, notified all the ulema, the doctors of the law, and the chief personages amongst the emirs. So when the morrow dawned, they came up to the divan, and having craved and obtained permission to enter, they saluted the king, saying, 'Here we all are in thy presence.' Whereto he made reply, 'O emirs of Baghdad, when will ye have to be king over you? Whom will you have to be king over you after me, that I may inaugurate him during my lifetime before the presence of you all?' Quoth they with one voice, 'We agreed upon thy daughter's husband Hassan, son of the Wazir Ali.' Quoth he, 'If it be so, go all of you and bring him before me.' So they all arose, and repairing to Hassan's palace, said to him, 'Rise, come with us to the king.' 'Wherefore?' asked he. And they answered, 'For a thing that will benefit both of us and thee.' So he went with them to the king, and kissed the ground before his father-in-law, who said to him, 'Be seated, O my son.' He sat down, and the king continued, 'O Hassan, all the emirs have approved of thee and agreed to make thee king over them after me, and it is my purpose to proclaim thee whilst I yet live, and so make an end of this business.' But Hassan stood up, and kissing the ground once more before the king, said to him, 'O our lord, the king, among the emirs there may be many who are older than I, and greater of worth. Acquit me, therefore, of this thing.' But all the emirs cried out, saying, 'Oh, well, we consent not that thou be king over us.' Then said Hassan, 'My father is older than I, and I and he are one thing, and it befits not to advance me over him." But Ali said, "I will consent to nothing save whatso consenteth my brethren, and they have all chosen agreed upon thee. Wherefore, gainsay thou not the king's commandment and that of thy brethren." And Hassan hung his head, abashed, before the king and his father. Then said the king to the emirs, "Do ye all accept of him?" "We do," answered they, and recited thereupon 7 Fatihas. So the king said, "O Qazi, draw up a legal instrument testifying of these emirs that they are agreed to make king over them my daughter's husband, Hassan." Then the king did likewise, and bade him take his seat on the throne of kingship. Whereupon they all arose and kissed King Hassan's hand and did an homage to him and swore lealty to him. And the new king dispensed justice among the people that day in fashion right royal, and invested the grandees of the realm in splendid robes of honour. When the divan broke up, he went into and kissed the hands of his father-in-law, who spake thus to him, "O my son, look thou rule the lieges in the fear of Allah." And Shahrazad perceived the dawn of day and ceased to say her permitted say. Very beautiful. So we are going to do something completely magical now. Close your eyes. Listen to the beautiful music of Kenya, because we have this very, very high-tech thing going on in this beautiful presidential suite where Saman and I lift up all the cameras and move them over to the piano.
As gracefully as we can.
Gracefully as we possibly can. So Saman is going to start.
Yeah, then we have a sip because
Let's
this is
work out. You know what we didn't do? We didn't explain what happened at the beginning of the story to begin with. I know, we're sorry everybody. You have to read the previous stories to find out.
It's all good.
It's all good. Exactly.
All right, we are going to take you over. For those of you who are just tuning in, we're in the presidential suite, and there is a grand piano in the room. All right, well, we'll see you.
That one
in
first, and I'm taking it.
Yes.
Yes.
Excuse me.
And show them your legs while you're doing it.
Sorry.
Do you want some help? Shall I start?
That's all right.
I'll start the process.
Let me just. Excuse me.
See what I mean about high tech?
فشارت نیستم به صبر لبریزم ولی چشم انتظارت نیستم یک روز میایی که من نقل دارم نجور نشک به چیزی نگری مست و خمارت نیستم یه شب زمیداری میکنی تا صبح زاری میکنی تو بیقراری میکنی من بیقرارت نیستم پاییز تو سر میرسد قدری زمستان میابد گل میدهی نو میشوی من مگر بهارت نیستم زنگارها را شستم دور از کدورتهای دور آینهای رو به تو اما کنارت نیستم نور دلم دیوانیست کار من دشوانیست اصلا منی در کار نیست همنم حسارت نیستم همنم حسارت نیستم مدت هاست به تو فکر میکنم اما نمیدانم چگونه بگویم دوست دارم اما روزی به تو خواهم گفت که تو را از ته قلبم دوست دارم با من بودی اما دلت با من نبود خود بودی اما دل من تنگ بود نمیدانم مرا میخواهی یا نه نمیدانم به تو گویم یا تو در کنارم بودی بمان تو در قلبم بودی بمان تو تو مرا میفهمیدی به من، تو مرا میکردی به من، فقط به من، فقط به من، فقط به من. زان روز که در بند توام آزادم پادشاهم که به دست تو اسیر افتادم به سخن راست نیاید که چه شیرین سخنی عجیب‌تر که تو شیرینی من فرهادم من زان روز که در بند توام آزادم پادشاهم که به دست تو اسیر افتادم همه غمهای جهان هیچ اثر می نکنند در من از بس که به دیدار عزیزت شادم خرم آن روز که جان میبردم در طلبت تا بیایم عزیزم به مبارک بادم من که در هیچ مقامی نزل خیمه هاست پیش تو رخت بیفکندم دل گناهم چه طلب دارم یاد تو مصلحت خویش ببود از یادم به وفای تو که از آن روز که در بند منی نبستم به وفای کس در نگشادم تا خیال قد و بالای تو در فکر من هست گر خلایق همه سربند چه سربازان آزادم سخن راست نیاید که چه شیرین سخنی دل عجیب‌تر که تو شیرینی من فرهادم
Thank you very, very, very much, Kanya, for that beautiful, beautiful music.
Thank
You're
you.
going to come around and join us at the front as well, right? Samantha's just sorting. Oh, that one's. Oh, let's just see. Yes, okay.
Oh, that's
Wait a minute. I'm just gonna do that to that one and move it back ever so slightly. There we go. We're just trying not to get too much of the white floor in, Cameo. And now you've got all the pictures in as well. Yeah, but now you've got all the.
Okay, but we are in the.
Let's just do it. Okay, well let me move over. Hold a minute. Well then let me move this back a little bit then, because, or I'll move this over here. Let's see what that happens if we do that. Right, so we're all in. Is everyone in now? And I'll lift that up a little bit that way. Hello, everyone on Instagram. It's so lovely to see you. Wave, everybody, because Instagram's waving at us.
Oh, really?
Hi, everybody. Hello.
So,
hello.
you have to also come to the center, though.
There you go.
And Jenna, you have to come this way. Yeah, it's too tight. All right,
There we go. We're there now.
It's like very cozy and comfortable.
Very cozy and comfortable.
So we need to apologize. We literally just found out that we have been encountering issues with Facebook. Facebook, thank you so much for changing your interface in the last few months. We've been encountering one problem after the other. So our live stream on Facebook is unfortunately not visible for whatever reason.
We don't know why. We literally just found out about it.
We will, however, upload it in HD as usual, but it's just too sad that you're not there live. Anyways, we hope you enjoyed the music with Camilla.
Yeah, very
We
much.
are going to start a little game.
We
Camilla,
are
you
going
can
to
barely
start.
see.
You need to, yes, we need to, yeah, but then, oh, look,
Let's
I'll
move
just do
this a
this
bit,
one. I'll
yeah.
move that way, look. There we go. Da 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 da. Something like that. Oder?
Perfect.
Yes.
Is
Yeah,
that working?
that's good, yeah.
Ah, now it's working.
That's
Awesome. Awesome. You could move yours a little bit to the center.
No, I can't move anymore.
No, the camera.
I know.
What?
Let's
Okay,
present.
all right. Guys, it's one of those evenings. No, it's your anniversary. This is the thing. You put
It is
so
our
much
anniversary.
extra
Happy
effort
birthday
into
to
it.
us.
You put so much effort into it, and then
Okay.
Facebook
The
does its
questions.
thing. Right. So the question. So remember, we have 3 books to give away,
We ship them all over the world. Please
all over
remember
the world. Faces of Love.
By Hafiz.
Yes, and it's a translation by Dick Davis.
The Quarter by Naguib Mahfouz.
Yes, and this
And Khalil
lovely,
Gibran, The Prophet.
very beautiful book.
So again, one more time, we're going to ask you 3 questions. The first 3 persons, right?
People.
The first 3 people answering them correctly are going to win the book, and we're
You're going to win the
send them.
book. Yes,
So the
isn't that
question.
lovely? You're going to start the question.
Yeah.
Remember, I'm going to do
I
the last
remember.
one.
Yeah, I remember. You do. 1 second. I do remember the questions.
Good.
All right. Question number 1. People are seeing his elbow.
I want to answer
So-
you, I think.
Yeah, you want to answer?
No.
I'm not going to give you the gift.
You can hold one of the books. Look, come here. There you
Alright.
go. But hold it that way so that people can see it. Look.
Antique faces of
There
love.
you go. There you go.
All right. If you're ready, question number 1 for tonight's raffle is: where are we currently located? Like, where are we actually presenting you our reading? Yeah, you're already helping them. It is a hotel, yes. So, which hotel
Question
are we
number
in?
1.
That's question number 1.
Question number 2.
Question number 2 is: which designer dressed us for tonight's evening?
Very, very beautiful dresses. Thank you very much. He's from Italy.
Stop helping them!
Question number 3, and this is my personal favourite question because I also chose it, is what is the man's name? That's a trick question. It could be a trick question. Maybe she has
Don't give
a
them a
completely
hint.
different
Please
name
don't give them
to the
a
one
name.
that she uses, Saman. Maybe
No.
Saman's name isn't Saman.
It is.
Well, you don't, but it might not be. So if you want to make up a name for her, to go for it. And we'll choose the one that we like the most, and then she'll by proxy change her name.
All right, and let's repeat the 3 questions. Question number 1: in which hotel are we currently located? Where is this special reading taking place?
Exactly.
Question number 2: which designer provided us with these magnificent dresses? And question number 3:
what is Saman's name?
yeah, there you go. Those were tonight's questions.
So I'm going to say goodbye, aren't we?
Yeah, thank you all for
It was
tuning
so
in.
lovely. Thank you so
Thank you.
much for tuning in. We had a great pleasure reading for you guys. We hope you enjoyed yourselves. We have had a lovely time being in this very, very beautiful suite. Please don't forget, next Tuesday I will be back online again reading the rest of this story. We have no idea what's going on. But then I'll be back in my own little office reading on my couch with candles behind me and the flowers. And yeah, so join us again next Tuesday for more of
1001 Nights. And we would like
Live
to say
and Online.
special thanks one more
Yes.
time to the
Special
Palais
thanks.
Hansen Kempinski
Yes.
for providing us and offering us their really beautiful, stunning presidential suite. A huge thank you to Maurizio Giambra for the beautiful dresses.
Sue Vienna for the
Yes,
beautiful
for the
jewels.
lovely jewellery. Mr. Kamil Sadiri, our musical director.
Oh, you're welcome.
All
Shakespeare.
links, Shakespeare
And
Company.
Company for the books.
Yes, thank you. And we are going to post the links to our sponsors, so if you're
We'd also like to thank, sorry, I forgot
interested
one,
in
people.
renting out the presidential suite, you'll find it there.
Gernot Outfits, if you like our logos and our posters sometimes, they are done by Gernot Outfits. Thank you very, very much, Gernot, for your support in the last year.
Ina and Thomas.
Ina and Thomas, thank you
Doretta.
very, very much to Ina and Thomas for their support, and to Doretta also for their support. To Samantha's cats now, because she's got two of them. To my dog, my son, and my husband. And
I would like to thank, last but not least, I'd like to thank my partner, Crown Joanne, for a year
And
of
Kanya.
reading. Yeah, but we started.
We did.
Yeah,
Let's not put that down. We
We
started.
did.
It's
It's
Joanna
true.
Goldman
It's
Silent,
true.
my partner in crime, who started this journey with me.
Yes,
And
and
we
it's been
came very
fantastic.
far.
Yes, it has. It's really been fantastic, and we really, really, I cannot say how much we enjoy reading for you. I think for us, if it hadn't been for this, it might have been a very, very difficult, lots of shutdowns to get through, but luckily this kept us alive and kicking, and being able to wear beautiful dresses, which is never a bad thing, and the stories are so exciting as well. So, yeah. So everybody,
Thank you very much for tuning in.
thank you very much. Many blessings from me.
And as usual, remember to go inwards instead of outwards.
Thank you. Good night,
Thank you
everybody.
very much.
Take care.
Good
Bye bye.
night.
Now I have to
Bye.
work out how to turn this off. Bye. Bye. Can you, how do I turn this off?